Hello students, this is the third and last video of chapter 3. In the previous video we have talked about uninformed search techniques. There we have discussed about BFS algorithm, UCS algorithm, then we have talked about DFS algorithm and then DLS algorithm and iterative deepening search algorithm. At that time we have skipped the explanation of DLS algorithm. Okay, let us finish that. Okay, so this is the recursive definition of DLS algorithm. So now as you can see here, the parameters of the DLS algorithms are a problem and limit. Okay, so we have to provide a limit value, L value to this algorithm, and it may stop in three cases. Either it will find a solution, or if a goal is not present in a search tree, then it will return a failure case. And if you say value L value less than a D, it may return a cutoff. Okay, because you are not going beyond that L value. Okay, and so it would not find a solution. So it may return a cutoff also. Okay, so this algorithm stops in three cases. Okay, so let us consider a first case. Okay, so for that consider this tree. Okay, and consider C is our goal, and when you want to search entire tree, you have to say L value equals to the depth of deepest node. Okay, so here the deepest node is D and its depth is 2. Okay, so you have to say a limit value for this example as 2. Okay, if you set the limit value to the depth of deepest node, okay, you will ensure that it will search entire tree. Okay, so we have set limit equals to 2. Okay, now we will continue. C is our goal. Okay, and our algorithm should find a solution now. Okay, so we will make a call to our DLS algorithm. We will pass the problem and limit as 2. Okay, now it is making a recursive call to this recursive function. Okay, now first node initial state, that is our initial state is our A, that is passed, okay, to this function. Okay, and simply it is returning the same value. Okay, that value, those values will be written by this function. Okay, now we are applying a goal test on that node's state. Okay, so we are comparing whether A is our goal. Okay, so which is not, right? So this is false, then else if limit is 0, no, limit is 2. So this is false, so we will go here, cutoff occurred, so this is initialized to false. So L here is 2 and cutoff occurred is false. Okay, for each action, okay, possible from that state. So here we have two actions possible, so we will iterate this loop twice. Okay, so we will apply first action on that node. So first child is generated, that is our B. Okay, and on that B we are calling this recursive function, but its limit is decremented by 1. Okay, so again we are making a recursive call but with that child as a node. Okay, so the execution of the subsequent statement will be suspended. Okay, and we will continue with that child. Okay, so B is our current node. Whether B is a goal, no. Whether limit equals to 0, no. Limit for this L is now 1, right? Then cutoff occurred false, so it is initialized to false. Then for each action, okay, possible on that state, okay, only one action is possible for our example. Okay, now its child is generated, that is D. Okay, now we are making again a recursive call for that child with limit decremented by 1, so limit is now 0 and we are again making a recursive call. Okay, now we are checking whether D is our goal, no. Whether limit equals to 0, yes, we have reached to a cutoff level, so return cutoff. So this is returning a cutoff. Okay, so we have written a cutoff here, so we will come back to node B. Okay, so result is cutoff result cutoff equals to cutoff, so this is true, so cutoff occurred true. Now this value is changed to true, so false is changed to true. Okay, the next one, okay, as this is satisfied, this will be skipped. Okay, now for next action, now there is no other action possible. Okay, so this loop is over, then cutoff occurred. Okay, so cutoff occurred is true. Okay, so this condition is satisfied, then return cutoff. Okay, so now we are returning cutoff to a root node. Okay, then we'll resume the execution at node A. Okay, so the result that is returned from this left branch is cutoff. Okay, so cutoff equals to cutoff. This is satisfied, so cutoff occurred true. Okay, so now this is changed to true. Okay, then next one, this is skip. Then we will apply next action, and next child is generated, that is C. Okay, so child is C, and now we are making a recursive call on node C with limit -1. So that is L equals to 1 now. Okay, and again we will jump here. Okay, now whether it is a goal. Yes, it is a goal, so return solution. Okay, so we will return solution now. Okay, now solution is written, so result is solution. Solution equals to cutoff, false. Okay, solution not equals to failure, true, right? This is not equal, result is solution. Okay, so return the result. Okay, so return the solution. So now we have written a solution, and our algorithm will stop here. Okay, so this is how. Okay, if goal exists in a search tree, and if you are given L greater than D, greater than or equals to D, so it is guaranteed to find a solution. Okay, and solution will be written. Okay, now we will consider a second case when failure will happen. Okay, let us consider a smaller tree here. Okay, now consider we have set L equals to 4. Okay, so that is ensuring that we will visit every node here. Okay, and consider there is no goal present in our search tree. Okay, so we will continue with A. Okay, we will apply goal test on A. It is not a goal state. Its limit is for this one L is 4. Okay, so this is false. Then cutoff occurred false. So for this cutoff occurred is false. For each action, two actions are possible here. These two actions are possible. First child is generated, that is B, and now we are making a recursive call for B with limit -1, that is L equals to 3. Okay, now B is not a goal. Okay, limit is not 0. Cutoff occurred false. Okay, now there is no action possible on B, so this is totally skipped. Cutoff occurred. Cutoff occurred is false, right? If this is false, then you have to return a failure now, right? So failure is written here from here. Okay, now we will resume here. Okay, so for this branch we have got failure. Okay, result is failure. Failure equals to cutoff, false. Failure not equals to failure, false. Okay. Then next action, apply next action. Next child is generated, that is C. Okay, so again we will make a recursive call with L equals to 3 now. Okay, so C is not a goal, limit is not 0, cutoff occurred false. There is no action possible, this is entirely skipped. If cutoff occurred, this is false, so you have to return a failure. So failure is written from this branch also. Okay, so all the actions are done. Okay, so failure, result is failure. Failure equals to cutoff, false. Failure not equals to failure, false. Okay, so cutoff. What is the value of cutoff? That is false. So false means you have to return a failure. So our main node is also returning failure. Okay, so if there is no solution, you will get a failure case. Okay. Next, last case is cutoff case. Okay. It will happen when a goal is there, okay, for this example, consider D is our goal and you have set a cutoff as L equals to 1. Okay, so L equals to 1 means what? We will traverse till this point only. Okay, so now our algorithm should return a cutoff as a result. Okay, so now let us apply the algorithm here. Okay, so now L is 1, we are passing limit as 1. Okay, so we will apply goal test on the root node, that is our A, which is not a goal. Okay, so that is false. Then limit 0, no. Then else cutoff equals to false. Okay, then for each action there are two actions possible. First child is generated, that is B. Then recursive call, but L is now 0. Okay, 1 minus 1, that is 0. Then whether B is a goal, no. Limit is 0, so cutoff. So this will return a cutoff. Okay, then cutoff occurred. Okay, next, then we will resume here. Okay, result is cutoff, then cutoff occurred equals to true. So this is changed to true. Okay, then next action is applied, next child is generated. Okay, next, again we are making a recursive call with C as a node. Okay, and with L equals to 0 now. Okay, next goal test is applied on C. Well, it is not a goal, so that's why. Okay, this is false. Then limit equals to 0, yes, and it is returning cutoff. Okay, so we'll come back here for node A. Then result is cutoff equals to cutoff occurred true. So if it changed to true, already it is true. Okay, so as this is satisfied, this is skipped. Okay, there is no more action possible. So cutoff occurred true, then return cutoff. So we are returning cutoff. So in this way we have seen all the three possible cases of this algorithm. As you can see here, we have, for this problem we have said L less than D, and that is the problem. If you say L less than D, your algorithm is not complete. Okay, so DLS is not complete when you specify L smaller than D. Okay, so that is the drawback of DLS. How to decide this value of L? Okay, now in this slide we compare the performance of this 5 algorithm that we have seen on the basis of these 4 parameters. As we have studied, this DFS and UCS are complete and optimal. Okay, but the worst part of this algorithm are the exponential complexities of their exponential time complexity and space complexity, and that makes them impractical for our search problems. Then we have seen, and these are the performances of the tree versions of the algorithm. And as we have seen, the best part of the DFS is that it's linear space complexity. Okay, so this is linear space complexity. Okay, but we have seen that the tree version of depth first search is not complete. Okay, that's why we came up with the DLS. Okay, but in this case it is not complete. Okay, for that case it is not complete, so it should be complete for all the cases, right? That's why we are mentioning no here. Okay, then we came up with the iterative deepening search. Okay, where we increase the value of L iteratively. Okay, so it is optimal and complete, and it is having a linear space complexity. So out of these 5 uninformed search techniques, iterative deepening search is the best one. Okay, let us start with informed search techniques. So as we have discussed in the first video, informed search technique uses some problem-specific knowledge, and we will have this problem-specific knowledge in terms of the heuristic function. Okay, and it provides the estimated cost of the solution through that node n. Okay, so this estimated cost estimated cost will be different from the actual cost. Okay, so remember this difference. Actual cost means the cost of going from end to the goal node. Okay, so actual cost will be the exact value between exact value for going from n to g. Estimated value will be rough figures. Okay, so it may be smaller than the actual cost or greater than the actual cost. Okay, and it expands the load. And it expands the load with the minimum value of evaluation function for f of n. And for these three algorithms, okay, for this algorithm we have different f of n. Okay, so they vary according to their evaluation function. Okay, let us see this algorithm one by one. First one is the most basic one is the greedy best first search. Okay, so it expands the node with the minimal h of n. What is h of n? It is heuristic function. Let's recall these functions. So we have seen g of n in UCS, right? G of n is the path cost. Okay, so if this is our start node, okay, so this is A node and this is B node. So G of B will be, let us say, the cost of going from S to A is 10 and from A to B is 20. The G of B will be 10 plus 20. So this is the actual cost. Okay, so path cost will be the actual cost. Okay, so it is 30. Okay, and next function that we are seeing here is h of n. Which is the heuristic function. Heuristic value of n. And then recently we have seen a evaluation function. Evaluation function, okay, so of n. Okay, so remember this difference between this different functions. Okay, in greedy best first search we expand the node with minimum h of n. So its evaluation function is very simple. It will be f of n equals to h of n. Okay, so we will discuss the performance after seeing the example. So this is the root finding problem. So I have looked at this problem here. Okay, I am using a short form for the cities. Okay, and these are the heuristic function values. Okay, so actually it is a straight line distance to Bucharest. Okay, so our aim is to go from this A city to this B city. Okay, and these are the straight line distances. Okay, for example, if you see this value, the heuristic value of f here, which is 176. It is a straight line distance from F to B. Okay, but here in this diagram we are representing the connectivity between the cities by a straight line. But actual path cost may be higher than this straight line distance. Okay, so this is the significance of this value. These values represent the actual cost from this city to this city. These are the straight line distances. Okay, so A value 366 is the actual straight line distance between these two cities. Okay, so which is the best heuristic possible for this problem, right? Okay, so let us solve this problem using greedy best first search. Okay, so our starting node is A. Okay, so we want to select the node with the minimum value of f of n. Okay, from A we have these three cities. Okay, A is connected to these three cities. Okay, so now for S, the heuristic value, h of n value, h of n is 253. For T it is 329. For Z it is 376. Out of these three unexpanded nodes, you have to select a node with minimum value of f of n. So we have to select this one. Okay, then we will expand this. Who are the neighbor of S? So A, O, R, B and F. A, O, R, B and F. Okay, let us find out the h of n values of this node A it is 366, F it is 176, O is 380, and RB is 193. You have to select a node out of this unexpanded node. So these 4 plus these 2 are unexpanded. Okay, you have to select a node with minimum value of f of n. So which is this one? We'll expand it. Okay, and then we have reached to our goal node, right? Goal city. Okay, so whether it is optimal. So what is the path cost of this? So this is the solution provided by our GBFS. So this, then we have visited F and then B. Okay, so that is 140 plus 99 plus 211, which is 450. So our solution given by the GFS is 450, but there is this path is also possible. Okay, this path is also possible. Let us add those figures: 140 plus 80 plus 97 plus 101. 418. Okay, so from this example only we can conclude that our VD best first search is not optimal. Okay, and it is not complete also. So let us see this example. Okay, from this diagram only. So for example, if you want to go from this I city to F city, to F city. Okay, so from I, two nodes are possible. We have N and we have V. Okay, from this diagram only it is clear that, okay, if you use the same heuristic, okay, the straight line distance between F and N is smaller as compared to F and V. Okay, so you have to expand N only, right? Okay, but actually it is dead end. Okay, from N only I is possible, and from I you are getting again N and V. So you are falling in a loop, right? Okay, so GFS is not complete also. You may fall in a loopy path or ending means dead end tree, sub tree. Okay, so it is not optimal, it is not complete. And what about time complexity and space complexity? It is also exponential. Why it is exponential? Okay, so consider this example. These are the child of this node A, and let us consider the heuristic value of this one is 1, it is 2, and it is 3. Okay, so now consider there are 3 childs of B with this heuristic value. Okay, then again child of C with this heuristic value. Ultimately, you have to visit every node of this search tree, right? So ultimately, you will visit every node. Okay, so if your heuristic is like this, ultimately entire search tree will be explored. Okay, so that's why its complexity is exponential. Okay. Next algorithm is A-star algorithm. Okay. Now here f of n is g of n plus f of n. H of n. Okay. What is g of n? It is the path cost. Path cost from the start node to the node n. Okay. So consider this is our S. Somewhere after some node we have n, and then we have goal. Okay. There can be intermediate node between n and g. Okay, so now this is g of n, a path cost from start node to a node n. Then h of n, estimated cost of the cheapest path from the n to goal. Okay, so this is h of n. Okay, so g of n plus h of n, so will become our f of n, right? So f of n is this plus this. So actually f of n is the estimated cost of the solution from source to goal through via n. through n. So this f of n is indicating estimated cost of the cheapest solution via n. Okay. So we'll talk about the performance later. So let us see the example. Same example, but using A star algorithm. Okay. So now at every node we have to calculate f of n, which is f of n equals to g of n plus h of n. Okay. So the path cost of the root node will be 0 plus h of n is 366. So the f of n value of array is this one. Okay. Then these are the possible childs of A, neighbors of A. Then for S, so 140 plus, this is the heuristic cost. Okay. So 140 plus 253, that is 393. So this is the f value for this, f value for Z. Okay. Now we have to select a node with minimum f of n value. Okay. So this is the node with minimum f value. Let us expand that. Okay. Again, A is a neighbor of S, so we have this option also. Okay. Now the path cost of array is 280. Why? 140 plus 140. Right? Because you started with A. 140 plus 140. For F it is 140 plus 99, that is 239 plus the this is the heuristic value. Okay, that is 176. Okay, and so on. So these are the f values for this node. Okay, out of these 6 nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is having the minimum f of n value, this one. Okay, so no, this is having the minimum f of n value. So let us expand that node. Okay, so now these are the values. Okay, so out of this one, this 3 and this 2, this one is having the cheapest value, right? Okay, so we have to suspend the execution of this branch. We have to come here. Okay, then let us expand this. Okay, so you will get this node. Okay, now actually we have reached to goal node. Okay, but this node is only generated, not expanded. Okay, so we are applying a goal test at the time of expansion. Okay, so we will skip now. Okay, so at this moment these are the values 646. Okay, now this is not expanded till now. Okay, these nodes are not generated. Okay, so these are the possible values. Out of this 417 is the minimum one, right? So now we have to expand this one. Okay, now we have reached to this one, and out of possible values, this is giving the smallest value. Now we will select it for expansion, and it is actually a goal, and we have reached to a goal, and we will stop here. Okay, and as we have seen, this is giving us an optimal solution. Okay, so the observation is A star algorithm is optimal, but under some certain conditions that we will see in later slides. Okay, so it is optimal. Okay, so this is the working of A star algorithm. So you have to calculate the f of n value of every node and select the node with minimum value of f of n. That's it. Okay, out of all unexpanded nodes. Okay, so what about the optimality of A star algorithm? It is optimal. Okay, its tree version is optimal if it is admissible. Okay, and graph version is optimal if it is consistent. Okay, we will see these two terminologies in next slide. Okay, it is complete if B is finite. Okay, and time complexity and space complexity is exponential. Okay, because A star expand all the nodes with f of n less than c star. What is c star? C star is the cost of the optimal solution. Okay, why it is like this? See here, c star value for this example is 418. It is the cost of optimal solution. This is the optimal solution. Okay, So now, as you can see from this example, it is expanding every node with value less than this system. So it has expanded this value, this one, then this one also, this one. Okay. So there can be many nodes with this condition satisfied. Okay. And in worst case, it may have to expand every node, every subtree in the tree. That's why its time complexity is again exponential one. Okay. Now let us talk about admissible and consistent conditions. Okay. So we have seen that the tree version of A-star algorithm is optimal if it is admissible, if its heuristic function is admissible. Okay. So what do you mean by that? Okay. So admissible heuristic never overestimates the cost of the cost to reach the goal. Okay. What do you mean by overestimation? Okay. So consider this example. Same root finding problem. Okay. So now we want to go from A, C, D to D. Okay. And these are some rough figures of the actual distances between the cities. And let us consider these are the h of n values. Okay. So A is, let's say, 40. Okay. B. So what is the overestimation? Okay. So heuristic value should provide a lower bound for the actual value. It should provide a lower bound. Okay. So actual cost from B to D is 30. Overestimation means it will give a value higher than 30. For example, let us consider it is giving us 36. Now our heuristic function is overestimating, and how it affects the solution we will find out. Okay. So then consider C is 20. Okay. So now we will apply A-star algorithm now. Okay. So A path cost is 0. Path cost plus heuristic value, that is 40. Now B and C. Okay. For B, path cost is 10 plus heuristic value, that is 36, that is 46. For C, it is 20 plus 20, that is 40. Now we have to expand C. Okay. Only one child. Okay. Two childs are possible, A and D. Okay. For D, it is 20, 45 plus heuristic value will be 0, right? So it will be 45. Okay. So now unexpanded paths are these two. Okay, and it is having the minimum one, and we have to stop here, which is not an optimal solution, right? So optimal path is 10 plus 30, that is 40, and this is happening because our heuristic function is overestimating. Okay, so that is the problem. Okay, so your algorithm, your heuristic function should not overestimate the value. It should provide a lower bound. Okay. Next one is consistency. Okay, so we have seen that a graph version of A-star algorithm is optimal if it is consistent. Okay, so in order to explain that, consider this one. We have node n. This is our G. Okay, if we apply action A on n, we are getting, let's say, n dash. Now this h of n will be the estimated cost from node n to G, and this will represent this, right? H of n dash. Okay, estimated cost from for going n dash to G. Okay, so now h of n is consistent if for every node n, every successor n dash of n generated by any action A, the estimated cost of reaching the goal from n is no greater than, that is h of n. H of n should be less than the step cost of getting to n dash. Step cost. So this is represented by C function. If you apply action A on n, if n dash is generated, so this function will give us a step cost. So that means this much path cost. Okay, not the path cost, it is a step cost. Okay, and then plus the estimated cost of reaching. Okay, so your heuristic function must satisfy this inequality. Okay, and what is this? This is actually a triangle inequality, right? Okay, every triangle should satisfy this one. Okay, and why it is important and what is the significance of this equation? So consider. So what is f of n dash? F of n dash will be what? G of n dash plus h of n dash, right? What is g of n dash? Okay, so this is g of n, right? G of n is path cost, right? From source to n, this is g of n, and g of n dash is this plus this. Okay, so g of n dash is nothing but g of n plus c n a n dash, that is step cost. This cost plus step cost plus h of n dash. Okay, and if you see this value is greater than, right? So this is greater than g of n plus h of n, and this is nothing but f of n. Okay, so here evaluation function should be a non-decreasing function. It should be increasing function, in other words, right? So it is evident from this example also. Okay, so your f of n should be increasing function, right? So now what is our solution path? This, then this, then this, and this one, right? And along this solution path, observe the value of f of n. It is increasing, right? Okay, if your equation, if your heuristic function doesn't follow this inequality, that is h of n dash, h of n should be less than c of n a n dash plus h of n dash. Okay, this will not be guaranteed. Okay, that's why it should follow that triangle inequality property. Okay, if it follows, it will be consistent and our graph version will be optimal one. Okay, so these conditions are putting restrictions on our heuristic function. Okay, next algorithm is recursive best first serve. Okay, the problem with the A-star algorithm is its exponential space complexity. Okay, so we can reduce the space requirement of the algorithm using this version of BFS. It uses limited amount of memory. Okay, it maintains f limit value at every node. Okay, so and what is f limit value? It is a f value of the best alternative. Okay, so at every node we will store f limit value. Okay, so as A is our source node, now we are indicating f limit in this box, right? So as there is no alternative for A city, so its f limit value will be infinity. Okay, now and its evaluation function is same, f of n equals to g of n plus h of n. Okay, so these are the neighbors of A. Okay, so for S it will be 140 plus 253, that is 393, and this is the value of f of n for T, f of n for Z. Okay, now for S, who is the best alternative? This is the best alternative. Okay, its f of n value will be stored in the f limit value of S. Okay, then from S, these are the possible nodes. Okay, then for A, it will be what? 140 plus 140 plus 366. Okay, that is 280 plus 366, that is this one. Okay, so these are the values. Okay, next, so we have to select the node with the minimum value of f of n. So this is the node with minimum f of n value. Okay, for this node, who is the best alternative? Okay, so this is the best alternative. You store the f value in the f limit of this node, that is 450. Okay, next, who are the chunks of RV? These three nodes. Okay, then calculate the f of n value of these three. Okay, and Now see here, these are unexpanded. This shaded one are the expanded node. Okay, you have to compare all the unexpanded node. So the node with the minimum value of f of n is this one. Okay, now you have to suspend the execution of this subtree and you have to go back, you have to backtrack to this f city. Now, at the time of going back, you have to update this 430. Why? Because next time you will visit, you will go there, right? So it will be like a loop. Okay, so we will update the f value of this RB city with the minimum of its childs. So that is 470. So this will be updated by 470 like this. Okay, now we are visiting this branch. Now the best alternative for this is 470. Okay, now we will expand it. Okay, now we are getting these values. If you compare these values, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we are getting this as the minimum. Now again we have to go in that branch only. Okay, again here also actually we have visited a gold node, right? But we are applying a goldless at the time of expansion. Again we are coming here. Okay, next these are the childs of RBCT. Then for this, okay, the best alternative solution is, okay, we have to update the f value of this FCT also. Why? Because okay, we have to update the f value of this FCT with the minimum value of f value of its child, that is 450. So we have to update that. Okay, otherwise you will fall in a loop, right? We have to update these values. Okay, for this the best alternative is the minimum of this and this. This is the minimum one, right? So 447. Now expand this and we are getting this one, and if you compare the f value of this all the unexpanded nodes, this is the minimum one. So that's why we have to select this for expansion, and we will apply gold test at the time of expansion, and it is a gold state. So we are getting a gold state now. Okay, so we will stop there. Okay, so in this way we have completed informed search now. Okay, the last topic of this chapter is heuristic function. Okay, so the difference between the informed search and uninformed search is that informed search possesses this heuristic function. Okay, and that heuristic function is guiding it, right? So let us consider this example and how heuristic function will affect the performance of any algorithm that we will compare now. Okay, for 8% problem, we can have these two heuristic functions. Okay, so first heuristic function is the number of misplaced tiles. Okay, so this is the start configuration, that is a goal state. Okay, so now count the number of misplaced tiles. So actually all tiles are misplaced, so its value will be 8. The next one. The next heuristic possible is the sum of distances of the tiles from their goal position. Okay, and for this example it is 80. Why? So 1 should be here. So it is, so for getting 1 to this place, so we have to move 1, 2, 3 times. So 1 has to move 3 times, then 2 has to move 1 time, then 3 has to move 2 times, plus 4, next 4 2 times, then 5 2 times, then 6 3 7 3 plus 8 2 4 8 16 18. Okay, so actually this distance is known as city block distance. Okay, or Manhattan distance. Okay, so distance between this point and this point. Okay, so Euclidean distance is direct distance, right? Straight line distance. But city block distance allows only moving in vertical direction and horizontal direction. Okay, so it is 3 blocks away. Okay, so now if we use these two heuristic, how it will affect on the performance of that search algorithm. Okay, so now we are using here A star algorithm. Okay, in order to compare uninformed search technique, we have choose this iterative deep search algorithm here. Okay, so now actually this heuristic function is allowing us to go in a particular branch, right? That's why the branching factor should decrement. Branching factor, right? Okay, so it is evident from this example. Actually, this is the average value of 100 examples. Okay, so as you can see here, for branching factor, the branching factor using H2 is 1.26, and here it is 1.48. Okay, so H2 is effectively pruning the branches. Okay, so H2 is more better as compared to H1. Okay, next here you can see the search cost. How many nodes are generated? Okay, as ideas, it is incrementing exponentially, and it is not possible to process further. That's why we are not having the values further. Okay, but as it is effectively pruning the branches, so we are able to go to this level. Okay, depth equals to 24, and you can see the numbers. Okay, so actually from this figure we can say that this H2 is dominating over H1. Okay, so we can conclude from these figures that the performance of any heuristic search technique depends on the heuristic function. How well your how's the quality of your heuristic function? Okay, and if you have a better heuristic function, your heuristic based search algorithm or informed search technique will perform well as compared to uninformed search technique. Okay, so in this chapter we have seen different search algorithms. Okay, we will stop here. Thank you.